Tonight, fireworks on Parliament Hill over the SNC Lavalin affair.
They are taking direction from a hitman.
Something was really wrong here.
Opposition outrage as Liberals shut down testimony from the Ethics Commissioner. So, what happens now?
Can you give Daddy 5?
One foster family's battle for money to help raise a sick little girl.
We couldn't turn our backs on her any more than we could our other children.
Why they say the government is taking advantage of them. And fire rips through the Amazon, blanketing cities with smog setting records, and the danger stretches well beyond South America. This is The National.
Just weeks before an election call, and all parties are bracing for the battle to come. The Prime Minister delivered what was called a major foreign policy speech in Montreal, while 200 kilometers west, opposition MPs were back on Parliament Hill pushing for more information about the SNC Lavalin affair at an emergency meeting of the Ethics Committee. They want to hear from the Ethics Commissioner after his report said Trudeau broke conflict of interest rules. But as Salima Shivji tells us, they're not getting what they want.
Thanks again.
Hours before the meeting, the leader of the Conservatives was trying to shame Liberal members of the Ethics Committee.
6 Liberal MPs, Frank Baylis, Mona Fortier,
saying they should vote for the Tory motion to hear from the Ethics Commissioner. Inside the committee room, demands for answers.
So given that this was not about jobs, the most important question I want to ask is what motivated this?
We need to know how extent was the interference and the obstruction.
All while Mario Dion waited on standby to testify about why he ruled Justin Trudeau broke the law and answer opposition questions about why the clerk of the Privy Council office kept some evidence off limits from Dion, citing cabinet confidentiality.
Either we have the rule of law in this country or we don't.
I don't think this is a partisan issue. I think it's systemic. I think it's shocking that the senior civil service of this country could be manipulated by a transnational corporation in this fashion.
But those arguments didn't sway most Liberal members who flexed their muscle and used their majority.
Mr. McKinnon?
No.
Madam Fortier?
No.
The motion is defeated.
The one holdout, Nathaniel Erskine Smith, but for an unexpected reason.
I think the Ethics Commissioner's conclusions are actually legally flawed in many respects, and I'd like to ask him some questions about his legal mistakes.
Afterwards, anger and accusations, but not much surprise.
They joined the Prime Minister in attempting this cover-up. They are complicit.
What the Prime Minister did is a resignation offense. It's a question for him to decide if he should resign.
What were the Liberals so frightened of?
While the Liberals had some accusations of their own.
This is a partisan game, so I think we all know that on the eve of an election, this kind of partisan gamesmanship by the opposition is what it exactly appears to be.
And that's where the Liberals want this to end, hoping that voters aren't tuned in and that minds were made up on this issue months ago. Buoyed surely by the latest polls showing the damning ethics report not making much of a dent, with the Liberals and the Tories neck and neck, and the election around the corner. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, Justin Trudeau wasn't talking about that controversy today, focusing instead on policy here at home and around the world. He was touting what he considers to be his foreign policy wins, even as he navigates a frosty relationship with China. Katie Simpson now on Trudeau's message for Beijing.
In a room filled with foreign policy buffs, Justin Trudeau delivered a speech sounding more like a candidate than Prime Minister.
The Conservatives envision a world where Canada hectors from the sidelines.
Attacking the opposition, praising NAFTA and his relationship with the U.S., he also acknowledged Canada's biggest challenge ahead.
We must recognize that China is a growing power and increasingly assertive towards its place in the international order.
Canada has been the target of Chinese backlash since the arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou in Vancouver on an American extradition request. In retaliation, Beijing detained Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor and blocked some imports, including canola.
We do not escalate, but we do not back down.
All of this will come up tomorrow when U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo makes his first official visit to Ottawa.
We will continue to work with Canada where we can diplomatically to help secure the release of these unjustly detained individuals in China.
Canada would like Pompeo to make an even stronger statement, though the U.S. may be asking for some public support of its own. The Trump administration has failed to negotiate a trade truce with China, despite tariffs and personal interventions by the president.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it, so I'm taking on China.
I think that's what the United States would like to see, is that Canada is on their side, staunchly supporting the United States' vision of moving China into a rules-based market order.
This former diplomat says whatever comes out of the visit, he's not expecting Canada's tensions with China to ease anytime soon.
They're slapping us around and they're getting away with it. And the only way we're going to be able to, it's very hard for us to push back because we don't have that much that we can push back with.
One way Canada and the U.S. can get China's attention is to weigh in on the protests in Hong Kong. Beijing has already told Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland to mind her own business, a sign the pressure is working. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, even as tensions rise with China, the United States is having a very different sort of problem with another country overseas. Today, Donald Trump explained why he's backed out of a visit to Denmark. And as Paul Hunter tells us, Trump seems highly offended that his offer to buy Greenland was rejected so strongly.
There it is, the place Donald Trump wants to buy and turn into America, the massive island of Greenland, even tweeting, tongue-in-cheek, that if it happened, he wouldn't do this. But when the Prime Minister of Denmark, whose kingdom includes Greenland, called Trump's idea to buy the place absurd, Trump's retort was to abruptly cancel an official visit to Denmark next month. Today, he emphasized it's because he flat out didn't like being labeled absurd.
Denmark, I looked forward to going, but I thought that the Prime Minister's statement that it was absurd, it was an absurd idea, was nasty. I thought it was an inappropriate statement. All she had to do is say, no, we wouldn't be interested.
Suddenly, in an out-of-the-blue international kerfuffle, the Prime Minister.
It is with regret and surprise that I received the news that President Trump has canceled his state visit to Denmark.
Other Danes were somewhat less circumspect.
To me, it sounds like he canceled because his feelings are hurt.
So if he's that stupid, I think it's good that he's not coming.
Without a doubt, Greenland, with its natural resources and big footprint in the ever more coveted Arctic, is suddenly prime real estate. But, say critics, including a former U.S. ambassador, it's not so much what Trump wanted, but how he reacted when rebuffed.
The idea that you would make a state visit contingent on the concept of negotiating the sale of part of their kingdom, this is offensive.
Still, others noted Trump's September trip to Denmark would have been shortly before that of another prominent American, Barack Obama, and that maybe Trump pulled out over fear of less love, smaller headlines. Plausible? These days, in this country, who knows? Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Now, Trump also doubled down today on his controversial remarks about Jewish Americans. Yesterday, the U.S. president said he thinks Jewish people who vote Democrat are disloyal. This afternoon, he took it further, explaining who he thinks they're disloyal to.
I think that if you vote for a Democrat, you're very, very disloyal to Israel and to the Jewish people.
And again today, outrage. Jewish leaders begged Trump to stop, saying the issue of loyalties is toxic and has a very dark history. Others called the comment vile, undemocratic, and anti-Semitic. Some agree with the president, though, saying the position of many elected Democrats has become anti-Israel. Okay, to Ontario now. 13 days before the school year begins, the provincial government has laid out its plans for sex education. Premier Doug Ford drew heavy fire last year for scrapping the previous Liberal curriculum, opting to go way back to the way it was taught in the 1990s. Back then, there was no reference to things like consent or gender identity. Now, those topics are back, but the government's also broadening it out quite a bit.
I think the focus of this curriculum is safety. We've made that a central foundation of success, and so there are many new improvements, dramatic enhancements.
The new health curriculum adds subjects like cyber safety, concussions, cannabis, opioids, and healthy body image. When it comes to sex education, different topics will be introduced at different grades. So lessons about consent start early in grade 1, and that is years earlier than the original liberal plan called for. Sexual orientation gets studied in grade 5, down from grade 6, but gender identity will be tackled 2 years later in grade 8 instead of grade 6. Also, to satisfy parents who don't want their children exposed to lessons on homosexuality or gender identity, they're now going to get 15 days notice before they're taught, and they'll have the option to pull their kids from class. Now, on the political side, the Ford government's been accused of fumbling the message on various issues. So does today's announcement put out the fire or just fan the flames? Here's Mike Crawley.
4, 6, 8, don't go back to 98.
Tens of thousands of Ontario students walked out of class last year over this.
We're going to repeal the sex ed curriculum.
In running for premier, Doug Ford promised to scrap what his predecessor Kathleen Wynne had put in place.
The days of liberal ideology, indoctrinating our kids, they're done.
The teaching.
Today, this social conservative feels betrayed.
Nothing has been repealed. Doug Ford lied.
Tanya Granick-Allen ran for the Progressive Conservative leadership last year. Party members she recruited helped Ford win.
He promised the parents and the children of Ontario that he would get rid of what he called liberal ideology being forced into the classrooms of Ontario. He has failed to do that. The Doug Ford, Kathleen Wynne sex ed curriculum is still in place.
They may feel that their child...
The Ford government is no longer talking about repealing the liberal curriculum.
Well, we've dramatically enhanced it. We have made it more age appropriate. We've allowed parents to have a say. We've added new elements that did not exist. I think this is a wholesale improvement of that product.
Let's face it, this curriculum is largely unchanged from the 2015 version.
The NDP's education critic says the students of Ontario still lost a year of sex ed because of Ford.
And for what? So he could show off to social conservatives at the expense of our kids?
The new policy will make it much simpler for parents to withdraw their kids from sex ed classes.
The biggest thing is that this gives the authority of education back to the parents.
So this evangelical pastor is praising Ford.
He has protected 2 million children from radical teaching, and this is a tremendous thing.
I was part of the organizing team for the entire province.
The students who walked out over Ford's sex ed rollback are also claiming victory.
The outcry and the amount of people who wanted to support the 2015 curriculum by protesting, I think largely influenced his decision.
Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, sex education can look pretty radically different in this country from province to province, and there's not a whole lot of consistency in what is taught when. For instance, children in 4 provinces are taught about sexual organs and health using proper terms as early as kindergarten. That's in BC, Alberta, Manitoba, and Quebec. But New Brunswick's curriculum leaves much of that until grade 6. Sexual orientation, that's taught in grade 3 in Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia, but grade 9 in Newfoundland and Labrador. And while every province teaches about sex, only Quebec's curriculum devotes time to love.
Here's a quick look at some of the other stories we're following tonight, beginning in Vancouver, where a deadline has passed for more than 200 people to leave a homeless camp at a city park.
Personally, I got my own place. I'm happy about that. But personally, I don't think some people don't want to move in the, modular houses and stuff like that.
BC Housing says it has relocated 75 people to what it calls safe and stable housing. Dozens remain at Oppenheimer Park tonight, though. Some are refusing to leave while others wait for help finding a place to live. A BC man accused of killing his 2 young daughters testified today in his own defense. Andrew Berry pleaded not guilty in the stabbing deaths of Chloe and Aubrey on Christmas Day 2017. Berry said he suffered a brutal attack, causing him to lose consciousness. When he awoke, he says he found his daughters dead. Berry's lawyer says he was $25,000 in debt to loan sharks who had keys to his apartment when the girls were killed. And fire crews are at the scene of a huge blaze in Mississauga, Ontario tonight, so big that it disrupted transit service and forced road closures. The flames sparked at a local business and sent up heavy smoke that could be seen kilometers away. No one was injured. A family in Saskatchewan is locked in a battle with the province's Ministry of Social Services. At the center of it, their 6-year-old foster daughter. They say she is fierce and sweet, but also very ill, needing assistance around the clock. That's where the fight comes in. Her foster parents say they need more financial help. Bonnie Allen with why the province is saying no.
Yay!
Aaron and Trevor McClellan brought their foster daughter home when she was just 2 days old. CBC has chosen to not identify her, so we'll call her Leah.
Can you give Daddy 5?
At 5 months of age, Leah had her first epileptic seizure. Since then, she's had thousands of them and has been diagnosed with a rare life-limiting disease.
Early on, she had some horrific seizures that would last hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
She could live 10 years, she could live 10 hours, we don't know.
It's lunchtime.
Leah is now 6, fed through a tube, and requires around-the-clock monitoring.
So if we don't have a night nurse, either Trevor or myself are up watching her.
All night long.
All night long.
Responding to Leah's frequent medical emergencies made Trevor miss so much work that he finally quit his full-time job. He now works 2 part-time jobs, but no longer has benefits.
Colton is 13. Berkeley is 11.
The McClellans have other biological and adopted children and say the monthly stipend of $1,900 to foster Leah isn't enough to pay the bills. Like other provinces, Saskatchewan says fostering isn't a paid job. But there is a policy that gives the government the discretion to pay foster parents up to, but not exceeding, half of what institutional care would cost. For the McClellans, that could mean $10,000 a month, but they're not asking for that much, just enough to support a family. Their application was denied.
They had said it would set precedent.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they would be willing to put her in an institution at double the price, but not compensate us. It doesn't make sense to me.
The Ministry of Social Services says the intention of that policy is unclear and will be reviewed. It says it will pay support workers and provide respite care, but it won't pay the McClellans. Tim Correll is a former Assistant Deputy Minister of Social Services.
The ministry is taking a huge advantage of this family. It's deplorable.
He says keeping kids out of institutions comes at a price, but foster parents shouldn't be the ones to pay it.
When the care becomes such that it is interfering with them earning a living out of the home, then it's time that we compensate them for the service they provide to our province in the home.
Hi. Hi. No matter what happens, the McClellans say they're the only parents Leah has ever known, and they won't stop caring for her.
They're calling our bluff. They're saying that we won't walk away from her, and it's true, we won't. We love her, but they count on that. That's how they exploit foster parents, in my opinion.
We couldn't turn our backs on her any more than we could on our other children. She is our world.
Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
The McClellans have filed a complaint with the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission alleging discrimination on the basis of disability. They also contacted the Premier's office, and Premier Scott Moe responded in a letter saying officials will meet with the couple in the near future to try to resolve the matter.
And still ahead on The National, from the fires burning through the Amazon to microplastics, we go in depth on the health of the planet.
And later, she's about to make her debut at the Canadian Women's Open, and she's only 12 years old.
I'm definitely very excited. A little bit nervous too. It's definitely a highlight, I'd say, in my golfing career.
Michelle Liu, a name you'll be hearing a lot of. Meet her just ahead. Tonight, we're going in depth on the environment with 2 stories about the state of the planet. In a moment, the World Health Organization looks at the impact of microplastics on human health. But first, the risks associated with a record number of wildfires burning in the Amazon rainforest. Brazil's Space Research Center says it's detected more than 74,000 fires this year. That's 83% more than last year. The country's leadership says it's working to control the flames, but as Alison Northcott tells us, it's also sparking global outrage.
The Amazon rainforest is an important defense against climate change, but parts of it are now being consumed by flames. Smoke is blanketing many areas of Brazil. The fires have drawn attention to Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro's environmental policies, which environmental groups say are contributing to the problem.
They cut the financing of the environmental agents. It makes they do less operations, less fine, and less combat on fires.
But today, Bolsonaro, who some call the Trump of the tropics, suggested non-governmental organizations may have set the fires to damage his reputation after his government cut their funding.
A questão da queimada na Amazônia, que no meu entender pode ter sido potencializada por ONGs, porque eles perderam grana, tá? Qual a intenção? Trazer problemas para o Brasil.
Bolsonaro didn't show any evidence to support his claim. Experts say many of the fires currently burning were set by farmers clearing the land for agriculture or cattle. Bolsonaro wants more development in the region to lift up Brazil's struggling economy despite international concern. Last month, Brazil's Space Institute released satellite data showing rapid rates of deforestation. Bolsonaro called the findings a lie. The head of the institute was fired.
It fits into his larger MO in terms of blaming what he calls the communists, which is pretty much anybody that has anything close to a progressive agenda, for all of the country's woes. Well, he made it very clear from his political platform when he was running for president that that natural resources are there to be exploited.
Some say with political will, Brazil can strike a balance, protecting the rainforest while remaining a major agricultural producer. On social media, calls to pray for Amazonas as the fires continue to rage. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
From widespread fire to a lurking environmental threat you can't see, tiny pieces of plastic that have washed down sinks, seeped through landfills, or littered shorelines. They've invaded waterways around the globe and made their way into drinking water. There are concerns about what that could mean for human health, so the World Health Organization went looking for clues. Cass Rusi now on what the researchers found.
Let's carry on down to the river and see what we can find.
The search is on for leeches, snails, and aquatic moths. For these young explorers, a nature walk along a river is a chance to learn the importance of protecting natural spaces and the creatures that inhabit them. The water here is pristine, but more and more, what lies beneath our lakes and oceans includes plastics, lots of it. It's the largest type of marine garbage. But it's the tiny pieces of plastics or microplastics that are especially concerning.
We see microplastics on beaches, in the water, finding them in places as remote as mountain tops and Arctic sea ice. They're in the air, they're almost everywhere.
It's easy to see the impact on the environment. It's not so easy to see it on us. Today, the World Health Organization weighed in, releasing its first report into what microplastics could be doing to human health, especially when they're in drinking water. Regardless of the size of particles, the risk is low.
For the larger ones, these would be expected to pass harmlessly through the body. In other words, they wouldn't be absorbed by the gut. And the vast majority of the smaller size particles would also pass through.
What's still not clear, whether the contaminants on or within the plastics are harmful. If so, the WHO says some of the levels are probably not high enough. The report says wastewater treatment can also remove more than 90% of microplastics. In this Toronto lab, researchers have collected hundreds of samples of microplastics in nearby lakes and harbors, looking for answers to and how they contaminate the environment.
We've only begun to understand what the effects are to aquatic species. Very little has been done to look at human health, but microplastics are getting into us, and it definitely warrants looking into and researching more.
The WHO agrees, calling for more research into microplastics, but reaffirming that achieving clean water around the world remains the focus. Cass Rusi, CBC News, Toronto.
One of the recommendations in the WHO report is that measures be taken to reduce the use of plastics, and Canada has already taken steps to do just that. A microbead ban went into effect last summer. That means any toiletries that contain the tiny plastic pellets like toothpastes and facial scrubs can't be manufactured or imported into Canada. Several other countries have also taken action, including the U.S., United Kingdom, South Korea, Sweden, and New Zealand. A growing number of countries, including Canada, are also cracking down on single-use plastics, which can break down into smaller pieces and wind up in oceans and waterways.
And still ahead on The National, she's no ordinary 8th grader, that's for sure. We'll introduce you to the Canadian golfer who's about to make history.
Plus, a look into the Titanic's past, what a new dive reveals about the state of the iconic ship.
Probably the most shocking area of deterioration was the starboard side of the officers' quarters, where the captain's quarters are. The captain's bathtub is a favorite image among Titanic enthusiasts, and that's now gone.
Welcome back. Clashes continued in Hong Kong today as pro-democracy protesters held a sit-in at a suburban train station. Masked demonstrators sprayed fire extinguishers and smeared cooking oil on the floor to try to stop police from advancing. The location was the site of violent confrontations last month when protesters returning from a march were attacked by people in white shirts. The protesters are angry that no one has been charged for those attacks. And dozens of protesters also surrounded the British consulate in Hong Kong today, calling for London to intervene after a consulate staff member was detained by China. Simon Cheng's family says he's been missing since August 8th after going to mainland China on a business trip. Just today, China's foreign ministry confirmed the 28-year-old has been detained for 15 days for allegedly violating public security laws. And work on the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion project is getting underway again. Ottawa says permits for portions of the line have been issued, and contractors have been told they have a month to mobilize equipment and workers. Critics say the announcement comes at a convenient time for the Liberals, with just weeks to go before the federal election. Once all the permits are approved, Trans Mountain expects the pipeline to be completed by 2022.
Tomorrow, Michelle Liu will make history at the Canadian Women's Open. At 12 years old, she'll be the youngest golfer ever to play in the championship. And already, the excitement is bubbling out of her.
I got to sign a lot of autographs, and I feel like I'm getting to be pretty famous.
Yeah, she definitely is. To put her accomplishment in perspective, Liu is just heading into grade 8. She was born in 2006. And Arthi Pol explains how she came so far, so fast.
Nice swing.
The form,
Perfect.
The drive, the focus. It's all part of the winning recipe that makes Vancouver native Michelle Liu no ordinary 8th grader. Lined up on the range with people who in some cases are twice her age. On Thursday, Liu makes her debut at Canada's most prestigious golf tournament for women, held in Aurora, Ontario.
I'm definitely very excited. A little bit nervous too. It's definitely a highlight, I'd say, in my golfing career.
A short career so far, but an impressive one. Already, she's won 2 junior world championships. It all started at age 6. The putting prodigy went to a golf camp with her older sister, but she wasn't thinking this far ahead.
I mean, at 6, I don't really remember it like that much, but I'd say that I definitely thought it was very interesting because there was a ball, there was a club.
By age 7, Michelle was swinging like a pro. Her coach has been training aspiring golf pros for 28 years.
In all of those 28 years, have you brought a 12-year-old to a professional tournament?
No. This is a first.
He's been training Michelle for 6 years.
Move your foot back more. There's something special about Michelle. She's very strong-willed. If she has a bad shot, she can leave it alone and move on to the next shot.
One of the players Michelle has been following closely, defending champ Brooke Henderson. She qualified for the Canadian Open when she was just 14 back in 2012.
I think I feel a little bit nervous.
Meanwhile, Michelle's mom is all nerves and excitement. She says for Thursday's first round, Michelle will have an international audience.
Her grandma will come from China, and her dad will come, and her best friend.
And while they remain focused on Michelle, the extraordinary 12-year-old will keep her eye on the ball. Arthi Pol, CBC News, Aurora, Ontario.
And that history-making moment, Liu is scheduled to tee off at 1:03 p.m. Eastern.
Very exciting. Still ahead on the National, analyzing the patterns to crimes with the help of an algorithm. We revisit the LAPD's controversial method of predictive policing.
What effect do you think it would have for you to be put on something like a frequent offender list, or?
I mean, marginalization. It would discourage me from thinking anything higher of myself.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, a portrait of Justin Trudeau and how his streak of fearlessness plays into the highs and lows of his time in power as Prime Minister. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
When you think of fighting crime, you probably think of responding to it. But what if you could predict it before it happens? As Kim Brunhuber first told us last year, the Los Angeles Police Department is trying to do just that with the help of computer algorithms. And not everyone is happy about it. Tonight, we revisit his story.
Before the cuffs,
Code 37, stolen vehicle.
before the manhunt starts,
Copy. Where you at?
before the guns are even loaded. This is how it begins. One of the most state-of-the-art police systems originates here, with a stack of paper and a black and green screen.
It's the data that matters, and how it's crunched by a multi-million-dollar program to predict crime.
Purchase any weapon or equipment directly.
Roll call in almost every major police precinct usually sounds a little like this.
Reminder to everyone about finding the dominant aggressor for domestic violence.
But here, in one of the busiest police stations in the country, Rampart Division in downtown Los Angeles, you'll also hear something else.
2A17, Howarth and Zizzo. You guys have Predpol?
Predpol is a predictive policing computer program. Zoom in on the desk and you see what it's all about. Those little boxes, they show exactly where the computer predicts crimes will happen in the future. Zones that were drawn up not by a person, but by an algorithm. Here's how it works.
The data that Predpol has for our particular division, Rampart, in 10 boxes we decided.
Captain Jeff Nolte runs the LAPD's Rampart Division.
Can you dial in and show us?
Yeah, absolutely. So this right here is a view on the computer of what is sent to our officers every morning about 1:30 a.m. from Predpol. The officers are given this paper printout. The boxes are 500 square feet, so they are very small. The beauty is that we don't have to have somebody working crime analysis looking at all the trends, reading all the reports, suspect information, victim, and developing profiles. It's automatically given to us.
So when you want to put their information in, you fill it all out?
It's a machine learning algorithm
that analyzes several years' worth of crime reports, like these.
The principle? Crime isn't random. It follows a pattern. And if your math is good enough,
1675.
you can be there when crime happens.
I'm like 2 blocks out.
Or better yet, before.
Should be on the other side of this intersection here.
On this shift, we will spend time in, or touch as the officers say, several of the division's 10 Predpol boxes with Sergeant Dave Rich.
We've reached the first box, a residential neighborhood in the middle of downtown LA. So it just looks like any other neighborhood?
Correct. Okay, so this area across the street from us right here has been identified as a problem area.
Rampart Division only uses Predpol to analyze property crime. And according to today's report, there's a good chance someone will try to steal something somewhere around here sometime soon.
You're driving through areas where it has been identified as problematic. Sometimes you could just get flagged down. You can turn the corner, you can roll right into a robbery in progress, or there could be some sort of an altercation. All right, so what are we working on? What do we got?
We get a 273.5 from the detectives.
Okay. How long ago did this happen?
For law enforcement agencies, you can see the appeal.
He could be hiding out over there. Okay. Yep.
It makes sense to deploy resources where they're the most likely to do the most good.
Is there any evidence that this actually works?
So that's actually a harder question than you would think.
Vancouver-born sociologist Sarah Brain spent 2 years here inside the LAPD headquarters studying its use of predictive analytics.
I think it's too early to say if it does lead to more effective policing, but I think it has the potential to, yes, because there is the efficiency aspect of it, where if you're allocating resources to where crime is actually occurring rather than sort of biased perceptions of where crime might be occurring, that's a good thing.
But those who worry most about those biased perceptions wonder, can you trust the algorithm if you don't trust the police? Because there's another, even more controversial component to predictive policing. One that can be used to predict not only where crimes will be committed, but also by whom, based on a scoring system. You get 5 points if you're in a gang, on parole, on probation, been arrested with a handgun, or for a violent crime, and 1 point for every time you've been stopped by the police in the last 2 years. Every 3 months, the computer spits out a list of about 20 people, the chronic offender master list. Everyone on that list is sent this letter from the chief of the LAPD urging them to change their ways. With the letter comes a list of community service providers, and at the end, a final wish from the chief. Good luck.
We offer those resources to those folks and give them a way out.
Officers are assigned to check in on these chronic offenders and take any legal opportunity to stop them. We shared a recent chronic offender bulletin with Sarah Brain.
If individuals have these certain points values already, and then officers are encouraged when they're out on patrol to go out, stop, and talk to these individuals to continue gathering intelligence and further increase their point score, thus justifying their continued stopping day after day, it essentially turns into this cycle where it's impossible to escape.
You want everything?
That's why in some communities there's a growing fear. If the information fed into the computer models is biased, then the police data could become almost as dangerous as their guns. Baldwin Village, better known as the Jungle. According to LAPD statistics, it's one of the most crime-ridden areas in the city. For years, to help crack down on gangs, the LAPD has relied on official lists of known and suspected gang members.
You're on that list.
Yes.
Yeah, so what effect do you think it would have for you to be put on something like a frequent offender list, or?
I mean, marginalization. It would discourage me from thinking anything higher of myself. Like
in the Jungle, we met up with several people who ended up on those gang lists, even though they say they weren't and never have been gang members, like Anthony Robles. Growing up, he wondered why police always seemed to be stopping him whenever they saw him on the streets.
One time they put me in the back of a police car, and as they're running my name in their little computer in the car, I'm watching them as they're doing it, and my file comes up. I seen it said gang associate, tagging crew, affiliate, or something like that, and I was like, wow, so this is why they're always harassing me, because they think I'm part of a gang.
Now, some community groups are fighting back.
So it's when you get stopped by an officer, he takes down your name, what you look like.
Based in an area called Skid Row, the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition was founded to oppose police oppression and intelligence gathering.
Who is Predpol going to target?
We already know.
Operation Laser.
Now, volunteer Jamie Garcia is trying to warn the local community about the dangers of predictive policing.
By driving algorithms and risk assessments with data, that somehow policing is becoming more effective, efficient, and fair. And I think that's really problematic because it's trying to mask policing how it's always historically been, which is impacting the Black and Brown communities.
Look closely at this list. Almost everyone on it is a minority.
The suspects are probably going to look like the population. If you're taking the position that minorities are paranoid that Predpol is going to put a bunch of officers in one area in a box, you know, I would argue that's part of what we should do. We have some information that we think this place is at risk, we should go there. But we shouldn't just use enforcement and suppression.
Essentially right now, all of the new surveillance technologies and tools that can collect data on all of us, not just people who have direct police contact, that technology is moving so much faster than the laws and regulations to govern that activity. And so as such, it's kind of this like legal and regulatory Wild West.
You think that eventually we'll see these types of tools be used in Canada?
I think that we will, but I think in this instance, actually Canada being a little bit behind the US in certain ways might be a benefit rather than a drawback.
Back on the beat in yet another Predpol box, an arrest for robbery.
1240 Roger. Broke into the apartment complex and stole a car. Started showing me all this surveillance.
Supporters of predictive policing hope that one day it will prevent thefts like this.
It's all for fighting. Every single time you've been in jail, it's fighting.
Activists fear that, if left unchecked, eventually we might all have our own police file, our own score. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Now, since that story first aired, the LAPD has decided to change parts of the predictive policing program. They plan to get rid of the part that identifies individuals who are most likely to commit a crime, and they plan to make the boxes of those hotspots smaller.
Up next on The National, one Alberta woman's close encounter with an animal you don't want to find in your backyard.
All of a sudden, I froze in my tracks because right ahead of us was the 3 grizzly bears.
What happened next is tonight's moment. But first, in case you missed it, these are the first new images of the Titanic in nearly 15 years. They reveal that the world's most famous shipwreck has been disappearing at a rapid clip.
Probably the most shocking area of deterioration was the starboard side of the officers' quarters, where the captain's quarters are. The captain's bathtub is a favorite image among Titanic enthusiasts, and that's now gone. That whole deck house on that side is collapsing.
Microbes are eating away at the metal, turning it to rusty nubs that eventually dissolve. The glass in the portholes is much more resilient, eerie windows into the past. The Titanic was the largest ship of its age, launched from Southampton, England in 1912. It never reached New York, of course, the mighty ship striking an iceberg and sinking. More than 1,500 people lost their lives.
I think it's still important to go down and visit the wreck because, of course, the wreck itself is now the only witness we've got of the Titanic disaster. All of the survivors have now passed away. So I think it's important to use the wreck whilst the wreck still has something to say.
Researchers are now examining these pictures to estimate how long it will take the wreck to vanish entirely. Grizzly bears may be a treasured Canadian species, but as one Alberta woman discovered, they're not so great when they're in your backyard. Marge Whitehead was near White Court when she spotted not 1, not 2, but 3 grizzlies in her yard. She was gardening. She turned around and, well, we'll let her tell you and show you the rest in tonight's moment.
No! Come here! Come here! All of a sudden, I froze in my tracks. And my dogs tore off because right ahead of us was the 3 grizzly bears right in our front yard. I didn't even move for a time. But then when the dogs were barking a lot, they went after the bears. I got in my house and closed and locked the door. Oh my gosh! From there, I went up to the upper deck because I felt more safe there. I thought that even at one point, I think our bigger dog nipped the bear in the butt and it turned on him. And it was so frightening. I kept calling and calling for the dogs to come back. But I mean, they're doing their job to protect me. So therefore, they wouldn't listen to me. I had actually fired 2 shots with my own gun, warning shots, and trying to scare them away. But they weren't fazed at all by the gunshots. I was totally amazed by that. Our 2 dogs are so loyal to me. They don't leave my feet when we're out and about. So I'm so thankful for them. And I, oh my gosh, it was so scary to know that something could have hurt them.
You know, Andrew, I don't think those pictures do justice to just how frightening grizzlies are. 3 grizzlies, you know, she fired the warning shots, that didn't work. A neighbor eventually came over and drove towards the grizzlies, not to hit them, but to scare them off. It worked, but only for a short period of time. They came back. They were not only scary, but persistent.
Yeah, man, my heart was in my throat the whole time. I mean, the first time I watched that video, because exactly like you say, I mean, imagine how how terrifying that would be to be in that situation. Not only for your own safety, but I mean, she says it right there. I mean, when her dogs go out there and you're pleading with them to please come back because the last thing you want to see is something bad happen. Boy, my gosh. I'm glad nothing bad did happen except for a little bit of property damage, apparently. That's the National for this Wednesday, August 21st. Have a good night.
Good night.